Hi guys, and welcome to today's video. Those of you that are new to my channel, my name is Maria, and today I'm going to be trying out the brand new, it's the Chantecaille Eye Quartet. It is the Giraffe one, and I also picked up a couple of the lipsticks, so I will be doing swatches of the quad and both of the lipsticks. I haven't got any foundation on at the moment, and I also need to put some primer on. So I'm going to start off with the Hourglass Vanish Airbrush Primer. That is this one, and I only got this 2-3 weeks ago, and I am just finding it just fantastic for under foundations with my oily, mature skin. It gives such a beautiful base to start off with, and it definitely helps at keeping my skin a bit more matte, and I'm able to use foundations that I normally wouldn't wear probably until autumn or winter, and I'm finding that I'm able to wear them even though it's summer here at the moment in New Zealand. And one of those foundations is the Chantecaille one. It is the Future Skin Cushion, and I have this in the shade Nude. So I'm going to put that on today as well. I think I have put it on in a video or two quite a long time ago. I never actually did a dedicated video on the cushion foundation though. I wore it yesterday and I'd forgotten how beautiful it is. Because I have this channel, I do have a lot of foundations, but this really does give a beautiful finish. And yesterday when I put this on, sometimes with cushion foundations I tend to use a damp beauty blender. Instead I used a Chic brush. It's the FO2 one, and this is what it's like, and I found this fantastic for putting on this foundation. This foundation does come with one of those sponges. I never use them. So even this is quite a small brush for putting on foundation, but I just find it quite good for this cushion foundation. And also with foundations, I do like to stipple them in because I think that does help cover up pores that you have or help to blur them a bit. So I do find at first when you put this foundation on, it is quite a light coverage, but the great thing about this foundation and that it is buildable, and I can get it to a light medium finish, and I think it has enough coverage for me. If I was going to be super fussy and wanted that blank canvas, I could put a little bit of concealer on, although it has hidden my redness. It's just the sunspots that tend to come through, but I won't worry about that for today's video. And I don't think I showed you the packaging of this cushion foundation, but that is what it's like. Chantecaille have really gorgeous packaging. So now I'm going to put on some concealer. This is a Chantecaille one. It's the Camouflage Stylo Anti-Fatigue Corrector Pen. And this is similar to the Sisley Corrector one that I use in that it has a slight peach undertone. So I find this really good for underneath my eyes. It is a click type pen with a brush on the end. So I'm just going to put some in the inner corner, and I'm just going to put a little bit on the outside as well. So I'm just going to take the Sonia G. This is the soft concealer brush, and I just put the product in the corner first and then bring it along. I've talked about this before on my videos, but really when you have mature skin, and you know, I'm 52, I'm going to be 53 this year. I've got wrinkles and crepiness around my eyes. That happens because as you get older, that is just what happens. So I do find a lightweight type of concealer the best way to go. Now that's for me, it is a personal thing, but I did find this out through quite a bit of trial and error. And even though you don't get the fullest of coverages, I just find that if you try and do, at my age, if you try and do that really heavy concealer under your eye, like someone a lot younger, or even someone in their 40s, because I really noticed the change for me with my skin once you hit, it was probably about 47 or 48. I just realized I could no longer wear heavy concealer under my eyes anymore. So once I've put it on with the brush, I find that really good for applying the product initially, but I still use my fingertips. As I said in other videos, there's something about the warmth of your fingertips and just helping to sort of melt the product more into your skin, and much less likely for any creasing to happen throughout the day. Next I'm going to do my eyebrows. This is a Chanel one. This is the Defining Longwear Eyebrow Pencil. This is in Bronze Clear. I don't really have a lot of eyebrow pencils. I have some Anastasia Beverly Hills one. I have a Dior one and this one. This is the one that I tend to reach for, especially for my everyday type of makeup. I just, probably because I love the colour of this. I think it's very, very soft looking. Now I'm just going to put some eyeshadow primer on. This is the Sonia G. This is the Jumbo Concealer. And I just find this brush really good for putting eyeshadow primer on. And now I'm just going to powder under my eyes. This is the by Terry. This is the pressed powder. And I love this for under my eyes. And I apply this just with my finger. I have the smallest amount of powder and just press that in. I've spoken about this many times before since I discovered this pressed powder, and I love it for under my eyes because it does enough just to set, but doesn't dry them right down like a normal face powder would, because I like to use the Chanel, the loose powder, face powder for the rest of my face. But I just found that a little bit too drying for under my eyes. And even though I have oily skin, I don't want my skin to be too dried down under my eyes because that just emphasizes the wrinkles even more. So now I'm going to take, this is the Chanel Natural Finish Loose Powder. This is another Sonia G brush. This is the Face One brush. Love this brush for putting powder on. Now this Chanel Loose Powder is in the shade B30. And I didn't put a lot of powder on. It's really just light dusting just to set the foundation down. So now I'm going to put on some bronzer. And this is a Chantecaille one. And I've used this many times in my other videos. It is one of my favorite bronzers. It is the Real Bronze. And it is in the shade Goa. So I'm going to take the Sonia G. This is the Niji brush. I only got this a week or so ago, and it is becoming one of my firm favorites for putting on bronzer. So now let's get into this really beautiful Chantecaille. It is called the Giraffe Eye Quartet. Now when I saw that this was being released, I knew I was going to get this. Those of you that have watched my other videos know how much I love neutral eyeshadows, and this is even more beautiful in person than the pictures that I saw on Instagram and the Chantecaille website itself. So this is the outside packaging. It just mirrors what's inside with the actual packaging itself. This is made in Italy. It has 0.5 grams of each shadow. It says on the front there 0.5 grams times 4. And it says there's 4 flattering earth tone neutrals that mix and match to create rich, defined eye looks. Giraffes across Africa are quietly vanishing. We are proud to help give them a voice and a future with the Giraffe Conservation Foundation. So a really wonderful cause. Now inside the packaging there's always a leaflet as well, just to tell you a little bit more about the giraffes and why they've chosen that to be part of their conservation, and to donate some of the proceeds when you purchase one of these eye quartets. So here is the outside packaging. It is really, really beautiful. I know that there's been other quartets that have had the really bright pictures on the front, like the butterfly one. I have that one, and there's also been the hummingbird as well. But I do like this black and white, and it's even, I would say, like a sepia tone. It is really, really beautiful. And inside these quads, they have a fairly generous size mirror. And here are the shadows. They are really beautiful, and they are not in pristine condition because I tried these out yesterday, and no surprise, I think it's really, really beautiful, and I love the formula. So I'm going to swatch these 4 shadows on my arm, and I'm going to swatch them from top to bottom and left to right. So I've just turned down my light in front of me just so you can see them a bit better. So there are the different finishes. This one is a matte. This one is a satin. And then we have almost like a topper shade, although it's got a little bit more denseness to it than a topper shade. And then we have a shimmer. The shimmer almost gives a wet look. It has a coolness to it as well. A little bit, sort of like, there's a little bit of a rosy lavender type of shade. So I'm going to take the Rapha number 14 and I'm going to go into this matte shade here. I'm not going to do a very dramatic look with right up just underneath my eyebrows like I sometimes do. I'm just going to keep this fairly soft looking. These blend really, really beautifully, and they actually have more pigment than I thought they were going to have. When you use that same shade, this is the Sonia G, this is the soft shader, and I'm just going to put that on my lower lash line. I will be putting the darker brown under there as well. That's the satin shade. And this is the Sonia G, this is the Worker 3, and now I'm going to go into that deeper brown shade. This is the satin one, and I just want this on, just on the outer corner, and a little bit in the crease, and only slightly above. I don't want to take it right up here. I just want to keep this a soft look and an everyday type of makeup look as well, but with a bit of sparkle in it too. And using that same shade, I'm going to take the Rapha number 3 and put some on my lower lash line as well. These shadows blend really, really beautifully and just really easy as well. I'm going to take the Chukuhodo brush, this is the F06, and go into this shade here. This is really, really beautiful. When you are putting the powder on the brush, there is a little bit of kick up in the pan, but it's nothing too major. It's a really beautiful shade. I think it gives quite a wet look to the eye. I think it's really beautiful. That is really, really beautiful. I think it is such a gorgeous soft look, really lovely. Now when I tried this out yesterday, I did use that brush, but I didn't use my finger to apply that shade. So I'm going to go over the shade that I've just put on and just see if you can get a little bit more payoff, and you can get some more, which is really nice. I think it's gorgeous, and using your finger really does give it even more of a wet look. And now I'm going to go into the lighter shade. I've just wiped down my Rapha number 3 brush, and I'm going to put that on the inner corner, and I'm going to use another brush to put this on as well. Now, a brush that I tried out yesterday, and I hadn't tried it before for putting highlight sort of shadows in the inner corner, and it's the BK Beauty one, and this is the 208, and this is a really tiny brush, but I quite like the result that it gave. So I'm just going to go over some bits that I just put on, and you can see that you get even more impact with this brush. And I'm going to take the Sonia G soft shader again and go back into that deep brown satin shade and just put a little bit more on the lower lash line. And that same colour, and this is the Sonia G, this is the Blender Pro, and I'm just tapping it a little bit on, and I just want to make sure that shade in the outer corner hasn't got lost with that other beautiful shimmer. And then I'll just give in that same brush, wipe down, and now I'm just going to just blend over the shades here just to soften it all out. Then I'm going to take the Chukahodo, this is the F08 brush, and go back into that satin shade, and I just want to put some on my upper lash line just to give a little bit of definition. I did this yesterday, and the shade is definitely deep enough to be able to give that upper lash line the definition you need without looking hard at all. So I've now put mascara on as well. I used to have a Chantecaille one, which I really loved, but it got past its 3 months date, and I don't like to keep mascaras longer than 3 months. So the one that I've put on today is also one of my favorites, and that is the Chanel Le Volume. So this is the finished look. Really beautiful quad. I think this is gorgeous, and you don't have to use the shimmers. You could just use the matte and the satin for a really beautiful soft everyday look as well. But I think this is a gorgeous everyday look too. I would wear this during the day, not just for evening. I think it's really, really stunning. So now I'm going to put on some blush, and I'm going to put on Chantecaille. It's the Chic Gelee, and this is in the one Happy. This is a beautiful colour. It is very soft and just gives a slight flush of colour to the cheeks, but I think it is really, really beautiful. So you can put on quite a bit of this, and it's a very forgiving colour because it is so subtle, but it's really beautiful. I tend to just pop these on using my fingertips, and they blend out really, really lovely. And you can build them. You're never going to get a bright sort of pink. I've probably got to put some over there. I'll get carried away. You're never going to build it up to a really bright pink. But I think it's a beautiful soft colour. Just gorgeous. And if you haven't tried cream type cheek blushes before and you're a bit worried about them, this one is very forgiving, and you can even put on too much and it will still look really, really lovely. I just think that these blend out really, really beautifully. I also have another shade in this blush, and it's a deeper shade. I can't remember the name of it, but I think I prefer this one just that little bit more. It's just really soft and really, really pretty. And now let's take a look at the lipsticks. I picked up 2 of the 3. The third one is apparently going to go on sale sometime in March, I think. So I picked up Jasmine and Freesia, And today I will put on the shade Freesia, but I will show them both to you, and I'll swatch both on the back of my hand. These are the Lip Chics. These are really, really beautiful. They're a cross between a lipstick and a lip balm. They feel beautiful going on. They last pretty well during the day. They're just easy to reapply as well. They condition your lips. I have quite a few of these, and I think they're just a really beautiful formula. The Lip Chics have 2.5 grams of product, and just like the Quartet, they are made in Italy. So this is the one Freesia, and I'm just going to show you the outside packaging of it. So as you turn it back that way, there is the giraffe on it. The packaging is just so beautiful on Chantecaille products. So I'll show you the outside of the jasmine packaging as well, because it's a different colour. So this is jasmine. Hopefully that will focus. Really, really beautiful. So I'm going to swatch these on the back of my hand. So this one is jasmine. It is a warm peachy colour. And this one is Freesia pink, and it is the cooler of the shades. And I also forgot to say, for those of you that aren't familiar with the Lip Chic, there is a magnetic closure. So here is the finished look, and everything that I've got on my face today I will link as usual in the description box below. For the Chantecaille products I will do two links. I'll do a link to Chantecaille, and then I'll also do a link to Beautylish as well. For those of you that are overseas and Beautylish deliver to you, they are now selling the Chantecaille products as well, which is fantastic, because now I'm able to get these new releases as well. So the finished look is beautiful. This is a really soft, really pretty look, and the products are super flattering on mature skin. Nothing's going to take away your wrinkles or anything like that, but with the foundation, the eyeshadow, the blush and the lipstick, just really, really forgiving products. They don't emphasize texture on my cheeks with the blush or on my eyelids with the eyeshadow. Just absolutely stunning, and I am thrilled that I picked this up. I think it is such a beautiful quad. So that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you next time. Bye.